Hello everyone and welcome to the latest episode of Market Bites, a special one today as we discuss the latest retail investor beat. I'm joined by Brett Kenwell, our US investment analyst. How you doing?
Good, good. We're actually in New York this week, too. Basically talking all rib, so it's fun just to keep the conversation rolling.
Yeah, good, good. Have you been tuning into much of the World Cup at the moment that's happening in the States or not so much?
Yeah, trying to. It's funny when you're walking around the city. It's almost like you go to by one corner pub has one certain the Brazilian game on, and all the Brazil fans there, and you go 2 blocks down and it's totally different demographic. So it's that part of it's been fun. What about you?
Yeah, no, I've watched quite a lot of it to be honest. I've got friends who are following England around at the moment, so they were in Dallas and recently Boston, and on Instagram it shows their stories, and they've spent most of the time in the pubs. So I think the pubs in both of those states have done pretty well.
I believe so.
Certainly Boston, because they had the Scottish fans there as well. I think they drank them dry. I
I believe they did drink them dry. Yes.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, won't it? You fast forward to what we in now, June, nearly July, when you get July and August's, anything consumer related from the States, because those numbers will be good, I imagine.
Oh yeah.
It looks like, we talked about the World Cup previously, and we obviously mentioned prices of tickets and stuff like that, and how many people are going to travel out, but it looks double busy. It looks like it's going pretty well.
Yeah, yeah. When you look at like the social media and stuff, you see the like fans overtaking the cities. It looks like pure madness. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see some of those numbers when they start to roll out in the next month or two for sure.
Yeah, it will be pretty special. The power of the people, which I guess kind of leads us on to the podcast we're going to discuss today. We do it every quarter on the podcast, but also I'll pop in the bio the link to the PR report on it. So just for a little bit for people that have never heard of the retail investor beat, we usually speak to 10,000, 11,000 retail investors across 13 different countries this time. It was conducted between the 14th and 29th of May. So obviously we're now in June. So just, give or take a month ago as well. So we speak to them, we ask them a series of questions, some new, some quarter on quarter. So we get to see all the changes. And, just before we go into the two main findings, Brett, I just want to get your view on why it's so important to hear from the retail investor.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously from our vantage point, hearing retail is our customer, so hearing from them for us is always I think helps keep us in tune with what's going on and really what matters to a bulk of our clientele. But at the same time, I think in general, it's important for market participants to hear what retail's doing. They're increasingly making up a bigger and bigger piece of the volume slice. I mean, certain days on the big days, there can be a third of the volume can come from retail. So this is not some tiny little slice of trading that comes from this group, this demographic. It can be a pretty substantial piece. It's a quarter of the volume a day is a routine at this point. So it's good to know what they're up to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a fascinating stat there, that sometimes it can be a third of the volume. I was at a meal last night with some of our Diamond Club clients in Mayfair in London. Lovely venue, and it was great to meet all these different people. But they're also, these guys and girls that are in the room, incredibly smart. They've all, got a view on the market. Some will differ from person to person, but it is fascinating just hearing from people, and not just to hear their point of view, but for myself as well, to maybe get ideas about other areas of the market that I hadn't quite thought about. But also another thing, to get people to challenge what I think as well. I was sat on a table with someone who was very, very pro Bitcoin, and then someone who was like, no interest at all. But it was really fascinating just to hear them talk it out and agree to disagree. But that's what makes a market.
Yeah.
So we came to two main findings which we can discuss now. One is the AI race between China and US, and retail's view on who's going to win that. So we'll discuss that shortly as well. And then just people's views, retail investors' views on AI, whether it's sort of cooling down a little bit and little bits and pieces around that. So let's go back to the AI race. I imagine this could well change again in the future, but it was quite interesting when we were reviewing this report, Brett, that China had overtaken the US, according to the retail investors we spoke to.
Yeah, I mean, obviously coming from an American's perspective, to me, it would be the U.S. who has the lead, and when you look at the survey, the demographic from the U.S., it's that's clearly the stance. But when you zoom out to the world, it's always such an interesting thing to do from like through the lenses of an American, because so many of us tend to not do that, especially in finance. So much of the market filters through. Um, through New York, that you sometimes get blinders on. But when you look around the rest of the world, they actually see China as the leader in the AI race. I think actually, Sam, you're across the pond to you. I think the UK may have a more like less biased type of view into which market is actually the leader in that right now. And I think it was 6 percentage points favoring China over US. Was that correct?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I mean, it's fascinating just looking at the breakdown between the different demographics of where they believe or who they believe is going to win it. But yeah, six in the UK. I mean, listen, if they had asked me, I probably it would have been tough. I think if I was pressed, I probably would have gone US, but it would have been very close. And in a lot of these countries, just looking at the breakdown now, like for example in sort of France, Denmark, Poland, Singapore, Italy, Netherlands, Australia, UK, there's not much in it really, to be honest. But yeah, it's fascinating to see that breakdown there. But what I mean, obviously you're in the US, so you've got to be patriotic, right? But would you have gone China over the yes or Taiwan?
I would have gone US, and maybe it's sort of a blind, maybe a bit of a blind spot. I mean, when you look at the headlines, and not even just in like a finance sense. Obviously, when you it's so funny when you talk to like friends and family, you realize how much further in down the rabbit hole you are in a lot of these, whether it's AI or like stocks in general. But even when you're not deep down the finance rabbit hole. When you see AI headlines, it's OpenAI, it's Anthropic, it's the Mag 7. These are all like names that are very familiar across the country, and they're all rooted here at home. So I think from that perspective, that's what people are familiar with here. And that's why I think they would say US is the leading that AI race. It's the same reason I would say it too. But
Mm.
I think have to acknowledge that obviously China has its own arms race going, and they've made great strides as well. So I see where the international retail also sees that progress.
Yeah, in 9 of the 13 surveyed countries, more retail investors picked China than the US as best positioned to lead AI. But it is worth saying the US investors remain much more domestically confident. 63% of US retail investors picked the US compared with 41% who picked China there as well. And that's going to develop over time. Whenever we've talked about just the market in general on these Wednesday or Thursday, podcasts, and there's been a headline that has led to the market going down because of AI, whether that be earnings, whether that be even going back to DeepSeek at the beginning of last year, whatever it might be. It always makes me feel like okay, yes, the market's going to move up or down, but the real winner in all of this is us, just general people. If these companies just keep getting bigger and bigger, and some fall to the side, but others get stronger and more innovative, great, fantastic. This is what I want to see. So yes, while it's a close race, China just sort of edging that. 9 of the 13 survey countries taking that. Yeah, it's one to keep an eye on, I suppose, over the next sort of 3 and 6 months as we enter any time now, a few days away from the second half of the year. It's gone incredibly quickly, hasn't it? Right, our next
Yeah.
one then, just about AI in general. Cooling. What are the retail investors feeling at the moment, do you think?
Yeah, I think maybe tying it together when you look at, we just look at some of the volatility we've seen lately, whether it's come out of, we woke up, what was it, Thursday? So I guess Tuesday morning, and the markets are down quite heavily here. And, you look across the pond, you see ASML and ARM under
Yeah.
pressure. You look the other way, you see Samsung, some of those, South Korean index pulling in quite a bit. This AI trade has quite a bit of geographic overlap, whether regardless of where these firms are domiciled. It's something moves in South Korea, it can affect the European equities, and then right back here on the U.S. Open, it affects us too. So it's quite an interesting look. The group's been it's obviously done very well. This whole first half of the year has done great, but this last month has been a little more wobbly, a little more volatile. Um, and when we look at the survey results, like again, as you said at the top of the show, it did basically the last 2 weeks of the of May was
Hmm.
the survey, and we did ask this question before. Essentially, do you expect AI stock prices to increase, stabilize, basically trade flat, or decline? And we asked this last year, so the year-over-year comps are kind of interesting. Respondents who expect AI stock prices to increase actually declined fairly notably, whereas the other two, pullback or stabilizing, picked up. Now, that's not to say that retail is bearish by any means. There's still majority is expecting at least stabilize or higher, but I think kind of cooling those expectations a little bit. I kind of think it's a healthy thing, to be honest with you. Um, you never want retail to be the last one, getting all bulled up right at the end of a cycle, right? And they're the ones left holding on the way down. So no, I love seeing that. They are looking for opportunities within tech. They're looking at mega caps, which, as you know, like the Mag 7, a lot of these names have really kind of actually struggled and are approaching what a lot of people would consider value territory. So, no, it's interesting to see. I don't know if anything stuck out there to you that's of interest, but
Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting that this was the point that we picked up in reviewing the rib as a group together, because it ties into just a few questions I was having last night with these clients about the whole, what do you think about the market at the moment, some of these AI stocks, do you think it sort of suggests that, the bubble is deflating, or is it sort of a more healthier, more selective market? And I was like, it's definitely, for me anyway, it felt like it was more healthy than that as well. I mean, we go back a couple of years and you look at some of these stocks that have AI related stocks have done incredibly well, like just unbelievable. And then equity markets, that have components of that are highly weighted AI wise have benefited as well. Just have to look at South Korea. Um,
sure.
I think it's a point where any pullback or a decent sized pullback is always healthy in whatever market and for whatever reason. And with AI related stocks in general, for them just to come under a little bit of pressure after these monstrous runs that they've been on is also pretty good. I think retail are kind of showing that, yes, they're still interested in AI. Yes, they still think it's going to go well, but maybe they're a little bit less willing to assume that every AI related stock is just automatically going to go up. And that's a sign of maturity, really. In the early stages of a big theme, markets are going to often reward anything connected to that trend. Then we're now to that point where it develops a little bit and you've got to have the real winners from the hype. And I think that's the moment we're in now in that market. I think retail investors are seeing that too. And as you said, you don't want to see retail investors to be the last one holding the bag. And it doesn't really feel like that's the case. And, I think whilst this survey was done a month ago, you kind of are seeing that in the market the month after that, i.e. the last month as well, Brett.
Yeah, completely. I mean, and again, to reiterate, it's not like it's not like the retail group has had this sudden bearish shift where they're negative on the group. It's more just like I think to me a tempering.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you and I we sit on the meetings beforehand, helping kind of construct some of the questions. Unfortunately, we don't get an unlimited number. Otherwise, I think we'd ask 2 dozen questions specifically honing in on some of this like really nitty gritty stuff. But um, reading between the lines of a lot of the questions we did ask, like for instance, was just kind of pointing out the shifts in AI stocks. When we asked about Mag 7, very similar line of questioning, basically stable year over year, actually ticked up more favorably quarter over quarter. So to me, and then, that we asked that other question, what sector do you see as most overvalued right now? Tech was the leader in that
Mm.
space. again, by the same measure, though, it was that following question: where do you see the most opportunity over the next 5 years? It was within tech and subcategories of AI. So I think it's retail's way of just sort of saying, hey, look, we've been on a huge run these last couple months. Survey was timed. We were really lucky with the timing of the survey because we were not so lucky last quarter with the geopolitical situation. Um, but coming out after 2 really strong months in the market, I think it's retail's way of saying, hey, let's tap the brakes here, look around tech, see where we can find some value, and maybe like reshuffle the portfolios a little bit. And I think that's a really healthy thing for people to do.
Yeah, I agree. And when it comes down to that point about, investors think XYZ sector is overvalued, but XYZ also is a great longer term opportunity. That's just understanding, that
Yeah.
maybe whilst long term I'm super bullish, but short term I understand that, okay, maybe a pullback isn't the worst thing in the world, or actually is encouraged as an opportunity for newer investors to invest, or people that like to sort of average into a position want to as well. So I think it shows a more sophisticated retail investor rather than a cynic might say, well, hang on, they think it's overvalued but they're super bullish on it. That makes no sense. Actually, I think it's actually a sophisticated view that retail have, and I think overall it's good for the market, and certainly not a bad way to view retail investors on that as well. So overall, I'm happy with retail's view. I would say I would go, and you agreed. I would go US to win the race over China for AI, whatever that actually looks like. But that will be one to monitor. And whilst AI stocks over the last sort of couple of weeks certainly have come under a little bit of pressure. We're recording this on the 25th. Of course, last night we had some earnings out from Micron, wasn't it? And
Yep.
they smashed it. And AI stocks benefited from that in the aftermath. So that was a great sort of story for AI, really, wasn't it? Again, to sort of, not saying it, there's results there. It's not just hype. So, yeah, we'll be looking out for the next 3 months. So just to summarize the sort of the main 3 points of the PR report. Again, the link is in the bio should you want to have a further read. 47% of retail investors worldwide say China is best positioned to lead the AI race, narrowly ahead of the US, which is at 46%. I mean, it couldn't really be much closer, could it? The US-China gap on expected long-term stock market returns has narrowed from 21 percentage points to 6 percentage points since Q4 2024. And the proportion of retail investors with exposure to Chinese stocks has almost doubled in 2 years. Another good point there, rising from 7% in Q2 2024 to 12% in to 12% in Q2 2026 as well. Brett, thank you very much as always for joining. I will see you probably next week as well, but for the rib, I'll see you in 3 months.
Yeah, sounds great, Sam. Thanks.
Take care, guys.